Good afternoon. I have almost 2 o'clock, so we're getting close enough. We could talk another half an hour or not. All right, welcome to the July council meeting. We appreciate everyone who's here. After being a closed campus since March 2020 because of COVID-19 restrictions, Cedarfield's beloved resale shop, the Cedar Chest, has reopened thanks to Lou Jackson and her team of volunteers.
Good afternoon.
What's reopened?
Whoops, okay. The shop was eagerly visited by residents and team members last Thursday, and sales were both brisk and enthusiastic. Please contact Lou if you are interested in volunteering. The shop's proceeds go to support a number of Cedarfield groups. In response to D-Wing residents who have expressed concern over safety issues in exiting their garage, a 3-way stop sign system has recently been installed. This is intended to slow the traffic and thus minimize the risk of vehicular and pedestrian accidents. So far, it seems to have done a decent job. 2 significant projects being addressed by outside consultants include upgrading signage throughout the big house and repair of the atrium tunnel's water leak, which happens whenever we have a rainstorm. No completion date has been projected for either of these projects. Another thing to add, a brief listing of current action items under the administrative consideration is being developed and will be placed on what we call the cork board outside the in-house mailroom. That's a spot where the new resident pictures and profiles are posted. The list will be monitored and revised as appropriate, and the main effort here is to increase communication within our community. Michael Shaw and Jack Johnson met with D-Wing residents in mid-July to review the status of various projects either underway or scheduled for additional work. Those projects included addressing low water pressure in some apartments, shower stall irregularities, fire alarm issues, plus other concerns noted by several residents. Another session to review the status of these will probably be held next month. Finally, I'd like you to please welcome Ann Ward, she's here at the moment, who will be joining Nellie Keener in co-chairing of the Wellness Committee. Nancy Bolio had to step down. Also, for those who have not heard, Lori Rio will be leaving next week to live closer to family and young grandchildren. I can understand that. So, she has been very active here in the Wellness and Leisure Group and will now work for a large insurance company. If you have time, please wish her good luck as we carry forward. Before we move on, I don't want to miss it again. We need to have our invocation. Pardon me. Thank you, Charlie.
Can we pray, please? Our gracious God, as we open our hearts and our minds to your blessings, we thank you for this opportunity to be together. We ask that you inspire us to be our better selves, to be helpful to others, to be available to family and friends, to be thankful for what we have. Remind us that most in this world do not have our comforts, our freedoms, our security. We are grateful for these good fortunes and ask your continued blessings on our country, our republic, our democracy. Fill us with your love and your peace as we pray this in your name. Amen.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Next on our program is a review of things that are really on the front burner from our administrative representative. Today, we're fortunate to have Matt Damon, who's here, and we appreciate you joining us, Matt.
Thank you all, and good afternoon. Glad to be here with you this afternoon. So some updates from administration. We'll start with just some COVID-19 updates, kind of like we've been doing for a while now. So we'll start with our dashboard. Our dashboard is green, back to being green. We had a person last week, I think Michael mentioned that on his live chat, in our assisted living neighborhood that did test positive. That person is recovered and is good to go. We had no other outbreaks from that. We did quite a bit of monitoring with not only the team members but with the residents as well. So it was an isolated case. So we are back to being green in all levels of care with residents and with team members. There is a lot of talk, as you all know, especially in the media, about this Delta variant and the kind of what's coming down the pipeline from that. Even the CDC, I think it was just yesterday, started issuing some guidance, additional recommendations for what people should do as far as wearing masks, whether, even if they're vaccinated. At this moment, we are not making any changes. Typically what happens is we meet with our Department of Health representatives after they get this guidance and see what it's like in our local community. A lot of those guidelines that were even published yesterday are based off of positivity rates in certain locations. I will say, unfortunately, that just about every local area has gone up in their positivity rates within the last couple of weeks. But right now, we have no additional guidance to change things at this very minute. We have weekly meetings. It's our COVID-19 Preparedness Action Team. We meet every week and discuss things with the Department of Health, our infection control nurse, our human resources department, to see if we need to make any changes moving forward. So if anything does come from that, we will definitely let you know, but at this time we don't know of any changes. And there hasn't been any changes to the Cedarfield Forward preparation plan since the last publication. Vaccine distribution. I am excited to announce that we had our first Moderna mini clinic yesterday. We do have the Moderna vaccine that is available to team members and residents that are interested. Our infection control nurse, Connie McGowan, is the person that is coordinating all of that. So we were able to vaccinate a handful of team members and a couple of residents and give them their first dose. So we're going to continue offering this for new and existing residents and team members moving forward. So if you're a resident and you're interested, just contact Ann Hopper in the clinic and we'll get you on the list. And then our team members are instructed to contact Connie McGowan to get on that list as well. And we're continuing weekly testing for our non-vaccinated folks. And that happens every Wednesday afternoon. So our non-vaccinated team members are tested weekly before they come back for their next shift. So we don't see that changing anytime soon. We're going to continue that. All right. Moving on to some administrative updates. Scholarship Committee, excited about that. So I found out today that next week during the live chat, the committee will be announcing the new recipients of those scholarships. I believe it's 4, if I'm not mistaken. So make sure you tune into the 3 o'clock chat next Wednesday and hear about those team members that will be receiving those scholarships. Update about the beauty shop. So as many of you know, and Michael mentioned it on his chat last week, unfortunately our long-term beautician Kathy Elkins passed away unexpectedly within the last couple of weeks. So that automatically gives a little bit of uncertainty with what's going to happen in the future of the beauty shop. So just want to give you a little update on that to give you a little bit more comfort. We are in the process of working out short-term contracts. The light just went off. We're working out short-term contracts with our existing beauticians so that we will have as little interruption of service as possible and that they can stay with us while we kind of figure out a long-term solution. So we do have a couple of companies that we've reached out to and are submitting proposals to potentially become a new vendor for us in salon services. And then also we're giving the existing beauticians that opportunity as well to submit proposals to us so that we have a few different options to choose from. And those companies will be coming here on site within the next week or so to meet with us and start planning for the future of the beauty shop. So shouldn't be any big disruptions to that service, even in this interim time frame. Affirmation Home Health, giving a little update on that based off of a meeting that happened just this past Monday. So again, that live chat from last week, Michael sent out a long memo talking about the safety net of services that we have here at Cedarfield and explained quite a bit of them over that live chat last Wednesday. Since that time, on Monday, a team of us met with the representatives from Affirmation Home Health, their CEO William and their administrator Jennifer, to come up with a long-term communication and education plan for moving forward. So a lot of the issues that we've had so far are just the communication aspect of things, and then kind of the knowledge of who does what, when do we access these services, things of that nature. So they are developing all of their, they're in the final process of developing all of their materials, so the handouts, the flyers, the educational materials that explain all of this in detail. That will be done within the next week or so. And after that, we're going to schedule some in-person meet and greets here at Cedarfield, so you can come and meet these individuals and really ask kind of individual personal questions that might only apply to you or a couple other people. So they'll be on site for that. We will also be doing kind of town hall type meetings with them so that residents can ask questions in a more open forum. They will also hold educational sessions for our team members, especially the team members in the licensed section of our building, so that they know, and our clinic, so that they know how to appropriately refer all of our residents to these different services. And lastly, here soon, probably within the next month and a half, they will have a community liaison that works for Affirmation Home Health that is based here at Cedarfield. So it's kind of an on-site person, go-to person that will be an expert in all of their services, so we can go to them and they can meet with families, they can meet with residents and team members and provide that education and communication there. So we do have quite a few things in the works, which you'll start seeing here in just the next couple of weeks, actually. Just a few updates from the licensed portion of the building, real quick. So assisted living, we'll start there. The construction wall that has been up for a while, kind of blocking off that water damaged area, is coming down and is supposed to come down by the end of this week. So we're very happy to get that area back, but even more so, the dining room in assisted living will be finished this Friday as well. So it'll be turned over to us. We're having furniture kind of reinstalled in that area, and the goal is to have our residents eating back in that dining room on Tuesday. So it's been a long time coming, but we're excited to have that project come to an end. And actually on August 5th, they're having the assisted living team is planning a reopening ceremony for the dining room. Strategic planning in the neighborhood. So I spoke about that quite a while ago. The first this year, we started doing strategic planning in each one of our households and neighborhoods. We do it on a big scale. All of our communities do it. So Cedarfield does it on a larger scale, but we wanted our household team members to be part of that process as well. So we've started that process, but I'm happy to announce that we've now started including, as of this week, family members in that process as well. So it's not only myself, our director of nursing, the leaders, the CNAs, the nurses in that area, but also family members that can help us progress those individual neighborhoods into the future. Our Lavender Lane household, which formerly known as Healthcare North, is preparing for their move over to the new building. We've been working for months with the team to prepare for them to move from their current location over to the 5th floor of the new household building, which has been unoccupied since it was opened. They will be moving the first or second week of October. So the team has been meeting with the families individually and lining up exactly where things are going in the new building. And so picking out exactly where the picture frames go and the furniture goes, all of that, to make it as smooth as possible. So we are looking forward to that. And the last thing I'll mention is just a couple of personnel updates. So Tamika Ross, who I know a few of you have had interactions with, she is our new director of nursing, has been here with us for a couple of months now, and has started making a tremendous impact in our healthcare center. We love her experience, and she's getting along with the team and the family and the residents really well. So we're excited to have her. Likewise, Melissa Whitesides is our new clinical leader in our Morning Glory Memory Support neighborhood. She just started about a month ago as well, and is getting settled into her position. And then here shortly, on August 11th, she will have a co-leader. So the neighborhood leader of our Morning Glory Memory Support neighborhood is Lauren Burnett. She will start with us on August 11th. And I'll definitely bring her down and introduce her to you all during one of the live chats, so you can kind of put a face to the name. But she received her undergraduate from William & Mary. She has a master's degree in gerontology from VCU, and is actually sitting this summer to become an assisted living licensed administrator. So we're very excited to have her expertise with us over there in the memory support neighborhood. All right. Thank you.
I have a question, Matt.
Yes, ma'am.
With this new health situation, are there any conditions available for someone who lives in a cottage that can't come and get their meal their takeout meal. Are there any provisions for those people to get their dinners or their meals?
So the question, if I'm understanding correctly, is if there's a resident in a cottage that is unable to come and get their meals, is there a service that is available for meals to be delivered or someone to come and
No,
bring it to
some
them?
to be delivered, because Helping Hands used to do it, but now that has stopped. So just wondering if there's any replacement for that. because-
Correct. I mean, so Helping Hands, that's the big hot topic here recently. That was kind of a precursor to assisted living for residents that weren't able to move into assisted living at that very time. So my first inkling would be to have someone go and speak to that resident and assess that resident to see if that's truly where they need to be, if it's just meal delivery or are we having issues in other aspects of their daily life as well. But right, we don't have just a true delivery service that's going to take meals out to everyone. That was kind of we had that process during COVID. That was when no one could come to the dining room and we had to get meals to people. So we started that process through Helping Hands at that time.
The bulletin board updates that I think was first mentioned like 3 weeks ago at least, if not longer. When can we expect to see those updates on the board?
Remind me what that is, I'm
Well,
sorry.
the status of projects and questions that people have asked.
Oh, okay.
That
Oh,
Mike
gotcha.
was gonna put on the board.
Okay.
3 weeks
Gotcha.
ago.
So the question is, when are we going to have the updates on the bulletin board about the different projects and things that are ongoing? And I will make a note of that.
Under advisement.
Under advisement.
Under advisement.
I'll make a note of that and we'll get it done.
It's been discussed and will come.
Correct. We did discuss it in the meeting yesterday with Ellen and Mike.
This is promises.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your being with us. What I'd like to do now is just go through the committees and so forth, and I'll go through, and if I'm incorrect in what I say, please don't throw anything first. All right, communication notes first. I think we have Rose Studer here with a report. Thank you, Rose.
Hi. The Communications Committee met.
Can you lower it a little bit? There you go. Good.
The Communications Committee met July 12th in the chatterbox. Members present were, we had one member absent, everybody else was there. We sort of focused on technology. Committee members, we had a guest, Mark Collins, who is Pinnacle Living's IT manager, and he came and spent an hour with us. Committee members pointed out numerous problems with the live streaming setup. Mark agreed with many of them, explaining that problems around Channel 971 were the usual problems encountered when one technology system is asked to work with another technology system. He also agreed with the frustration of not having a designated point person to deal with technology problems. He explained that the major communication vehicle for Cedarfield is Touchtown, and efforts are ongoing to help residents access that. He said his data showed 250 to 280 active devices currently in Cedarfield. But many television and telephone problems can be solved only by Comcast, not by Cedarfield. The Cedar Digest, Fred Beck reported that the next edition of the Cedar Digest is due out September 17. As far as general communications go, the committee agreed the town hall meetings, as we had in the past, as well as departmental meetings on a regular basis, as we had in the past, are both needed now. Both would work to bring more information to residents. Failure of staff to return phone calls remains an issue. Committee members were surprised and disturbed about an incident in a cottage that you've just heard about. Our resident had been told that our meal delivery via Helping Hands would cease within the week. The committee asked the chair to contact Michael about that incident. And I did contact Michael, and we talked about it, and you can read my memo to the committee, but it's old news now, so I won't read it to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ro. Dining services, Jean Bodie is with us here, and I think there has been a report issued. That's fine? That's good enough, okay. Environmental services, we have Vernon Whitaker. You'd like to come forward.
Thank you, Eldon. Let's see. We had our environmental committee meeting on July 7th, and there were 3 members there and 2 team members. And that didn't qualify as a quorum, so we decided we would talk with Beth Burrell and Jack Johnson, who are our team members. It was at 2 o'clock. Beth started off with saying about the lake, the nature pond as we call it, and she said, in late fall, they overlook and the edge below the clubhouse rear, and several areas near the forebay will have invasive plant growth cut back. Native plants that are desirable will be tagged to avoid pruning. Now, some of you may not know what the forebay is. The forebay is a section of the lake separated by a berm, underwater berm, and it's designed to catch incoming debris, and it's expected to be cleaned out on a regular basis a year as described by years. It would be 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, depending on how fast it fills up. So she's that was taking care of the nature pond. On the continuing business, we took some signs down from the nature trail, and we told them that. And there was a badly damaged communication box at 2112. It's just these green boxes that get torn up by a lot of them get torn up by the string trimmer. And Jack took that under advisement. Then there are some lines in the healthcare parking lot that need to be painted, but Jack was on top of that, and he's going to get them painted. And then let's see. Oh yeah, on what's the lane behind memory care? Anyway, the concrete walk that goes back behind memory care had a piece of concrete delineating the garden, the flower garden, from the turf. And so we had that replaced with the concrete was taken out and replaced with a stone. We talked about that. And then Beth Burrell shared plans made during the meeting with Clark Aquatics. And she has got a program going to determine how to use the forebay in our nature pond. And then Clark Aquatics installed system that aerates the lake. They installed that, and they work on our lake all the time. Then Beth also announced there'd be a guest lecture by Kevin McCurley on Monday, August 9th at 11 a.m. He'll be addressing matters relevant to our pond and surrounding environment. Then we adjourned. Well, we didn't really have a meeting because we didn't have a quorum. There were 3 members and 2 team members there. And that leads me to the scoop. The Environmental Connection Committee needs you. We're short. And I'll give you about 3 sentences here. Our purview is essentially the whole outside 90 acres. We look at that. We have only 6 members now, and some to be soon, I think, to be 4. And my goal is to have 7 to 9 members. That seems to be about right. So my name is Vernon Whitaker. I live at 2103, and I'm co-chair of the committee. And I would like anybody that is here or on TV or whatever to call me, and I'd like to talk to them about what would be entailed if they were to sign up for the committee. And I have a phone number here, and I have a lot of little tickets here, and I'll leave them on top of the organ, and anybody can pick them up. But 2103 is where I live, and I'm in the phone book on that, and let's hope we can get some growth to the Environmental Committee going. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vernon. Moving on to facilities. I know you're here. I don't know if you had a report or everything.
No
after
report.
your next meeting. Okay. Finance, Carol, we thank you for being here, and I know there's a meeting coming up next month, so we'll probably have a really full report next time. Thank you. Flower, we have a stranger here, Ms. Louisa Rucker.
Good afternoon. Listening to the reports, I'm just amazed how much goes on around here with the number of volunteers we have. And on Vernon's committee, each member has 15 acres of property to take care of. That's pretty impressive, right there. I see why you want more people on there. Regarding the flower committee, we are currently enjoying the abundance of greens and flowering plants around the campus. Beth Burrell's creativity and knowledge of all things green and growing continues to be an absolute delight for us, and I hope for you too. You've seen all the time something new is coming out of her gardens, things that I've never seen before, and I hope you were equally delighted with that. For the last month, our members have been able to use fresh greens from the gardens and fresh flowers in some of their creations, and that's really fun to be able to do, to go out and pick something that's grown here. And I want to assure you that we pick very carefully, so you shouldn't be able to notice anything's missing unless you are absolutely looking closely. The other aspect of the committee that continues to be a pleasure is when we have the opportunity to provide arrangements that celebrate someone or something. When the various flowers are being put into place around the big house, people frequently ask with anticipation, does a card go with that? And if a dedication card is being placed, it's widely read and brings joy to the honoree, to the givers, and to the viewers. Saying with flowers is something that outlives the blossoms themselves. If we can help you with a floral occasion, please give me a call. The Flower Committee will make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you. The next group is gardening. I think both of those are not here today. Move on by. Health services. We held one of the chairs held here.
We would like to say we're truly enjoying having Tamika Rossi join us. It's made a definite difference in the care that people get and just the feeling of being cared for. What I'd like to do is read the minutes from our July 14th, 2021 meeting. The census throughout in healthcare was 43, assisted living 28, and Morning Glory 20, and the 20 is the maximum for Morning Glory. Discussion related to what is available for residents in independent living in cottages who need electricity during an electrical blackout. Recommendations include the following. Identify areas that have electrical access in independent living and cottages during a blackout and communicate those to all residents. Have a list of all residents who need an electrical connection for oxygen, sleep apnea equipment, dialysis, etc., and see that they have access in their apartments, cottages, or an area that is designated for them as soon as possible. If backup electrical plugs are used for current residents, install them immediately in apartments, cottages, as soon as identified. In planning for future needs and the cost, add plugs to apartments and cottages as there's turnover. Have potential residents identify needs as they are admitted to Cedarfield so that those electrical needs are met prior to the move-in. Nancy Rhodes provided the background of Helping Hands. The intent of the program is for short-term help. If help will be ongoing, the resident is expected to transition to the next level of care. Each resident who receives help will be evaluated monthly to see if she or he is making progress or is ready to transition. Helping Hands is staffed with one nurse and one CNA who provide care within their scope of practice. That's the licensure. The big key is residents need to know what is available and the cost attached, since this is a change. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next we have library. Welcome to be with us, Dolly.
Thank you, and hello everybody, and good afternoon. The Library Committee met on Wednesday, July 21st in the Chatterbox. And most of the 27 members were there. There were about 3 that weren't there. The chair introduced 2 new members, Sally Wood and Ted McCormick, and new member Dick Rankin was not able to attend. The committee administration advisor, Florence Brooks, and visitor Jean Williams also attended the meeting and were introduced. The new artwork in the library was loaned to the library by resident Susan Hutchinson for display until December. I hope you've seen and how it's made a difference in brightening up the walls in the library. And the committee is very, very grateful to Susan. Her artwork is a bright addition to the walls in the library. We hope other resident artists will loan us their art in the future. Mr. Churchill, who was created by a former resident, will now be displayed in the archival room, being created to celebrate the 25 years of Cedarfield. The butterflies are being refreshed in the art room, and when they're all prettied up again, they'll find a new home. The committee discussed the need for additional shelving in the library. This is an ongoing problem with no solution yet. We do not want to restrict donations or additional purchases. The committee decided to cull some of the several books we have by certain popular authors that have been in the library too long. This will give us some additional space for now. In addition, the members discussed the need for new window treatments and furnishings again. The lengthy discussion with several members offering opinions and possible solutions led to the suggestion that the chair meet with Michael Shaw to address these concerns. Also suggested was doing research into possible costs and possible areas of funding, not resident donations, for the chair to present at this meeting. And I do have one very active volunteer that's doing some of the research about chairs for the library. The day following the meeting, the chair received a phone call from Michael Shaw, prompted by a conversation he had with Lawrence Brooks, to ask for a meeting to discuss furnishings for the library. This meeting is scheduled for August 5th, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. And I thank you to Florence for being our advocate and for Michael being willing to discuss the situation. The next committee meeting is September 15th, 4 p.m. in the Chatterbox. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you being with us. Charlotte, I think you don't have a report today. Our next report is from Safety. Dr. May is right here.
Thank you. The meeting report minutes have already been submitted, and I'm not going to go over all of them. There were a couple of things that stood out. There are a couple of things that stood out. Number one, the problem with markings, things like the steps, front steps to the wellness building where physical therapy walks people down the steps. They were marked. It was taken, the markings apparently were taken off because of concern about aesthetics. And it's time probably to start thinking about safety more than aesthetics. There's uneven sidewalks across from the clubhouse. There were problems with the parking bumpers on the front of the building, but Jack actually had already taken care of that. Concerns about crossing Cedarfield Parkway from the court, and that's underway. There was a new thing just noticed was that during the power failure, the electric doors all shut and make people who have somewhat limited mobility, either with walkers or scooters, or really cannot open those doors. They're just entirely too heavy and too strong, and that really needs to be looked into. Two other things that came up. Most of the safety committee sounds like a driver's ed committee. The biggest problem is that most of the residents and staff need to learn how to drive. Need to stop. You know, a stop sign does not mean roll through it. It means stop. Need to watch the speed still. I've been complaining about that for 5 years. And people need to pay attention. We are not getting younger. Our reflexes are not what they were when we were 25 years old. People come through with cell phones on, and you can see that. And again, people need to know that after July 1st, that's against the law and will be ticketed. I'm concerned that as the days get shorter and darkness comes earlier, the walkers will still be out at 4 or 5 and even 6 o'clock when it's dark. And unfortunately, in the wintertime, people walk with dark clothes, and we don't see so good either. We're cruddy drivers, and it's just the staff. I mean, looking in front of my house, I see a lot of gray-haired people cruising through there awfully quick with their cell phones on. The other thing, from a short-term point of view, I do want to remind everybody, you need to check your flashlight batteries, as this power failure showed, especially in the independent living and in the cottages, because if you don't, when we have these power failures, it can happen in the middle of the night. You can't see anything. Now, last year we did get provided the safety lights that everybody should still have that plug in and turn on when the power goes off. And they were given to all of the cottages. The other thing is we had a long discussion about general safety in the cottages, and I just have most of the cottages need to really be totally evaluated for safety. There are inadequate safety bars in the bathroom. The tiles in the bathroom are the wrong type. There's a lip on the shower. Every single one of those needs to be changed. That's common sense. Unlike what the committee says, having somebody take dinner and staying in a cottage is a hell of a lot cheaper, and being a businessman, is a lot more profitable than putting them in assisted living and having somebody fall and break their hip. And I know there's 6 or 7 of those every year, and they occur in the bathroom for these reasons. That needs to be addressed. Take somebody out of a cottage, which is very profitable. Independent living is profitable. Assisted living, memory care, and health care are not. And as we get more and more regulations, they're going to be less so. So keeping somebody in a cottage means that our rent should not keep going up at an astronomical level. And that every single cottage needs to be evaluated for that. We also need to get rid of the ventless fireplaces, which are a health hazard. But I get on my soapbox. All of that's written in there. But the big thing is learn to drive and learn to pay attention when you're driving. Obey the rules and check your flashlights and watch out for walkers.
Thank you very much. Wish I could remember all of that. I'm sure Matt's got it all down. Nellie, I think you're next, I believe. Next group is the welcoming.
New residents, have been welcomed to Cedarfield recently. Charles Sherman moved into apartment 211. Charles moved to Cedarfield from Glen Allen. William and Sandra Manning have moved into apartment 368. They also moved to Cedarfield from Glen Allen. Carol Shanoff has moved into apartment 319. Carol moved from Juniper, Florida. Virginia Flanagan has moved into apartment 374. She moved from Westminster, Maryland. The Welcome Committee has had 2 welcoming sessions for incoming residents during July. The purpose of these small gatherings is not only to welcome these residents to Cedarfield, but also to give them the chance to meet other residents and to answer any questions they may have. We also ask them for suggestions to make the move to Cedarfield easier for incoming residents. These suggestions are passed on, and some have been implemented too. Tom Maxwell and Lori recently made a presentation of the communication to Touchtown to the ambassadors. This was done so that the ambassadors could make these new residents aware of the convenient and easy means of communication. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Barbara Rose, I know, since she's a neighbor, is out of town. And the only other one left is Jim Trometer, is with VACRA. You have some wisdom for us.
Oh, how wise it is.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. Please forgive me for reading.
Raise that up.
Where you want it? Is this good?
Oh, there you go.
This good?
That's good.
Everybody here? No?
Well,
You want me up?
yeah.
It's not good.
That's good.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Thanks for the feedback. Please forgive me for reading. I'm getting to the place if I don't read it, I forget it. And so something would be left out. The Virginia Continuing Care Residents Association, which as I've said before is known as VACRA, is the only organization serving the residents of continuing care facilities in Virginia. It is recruiting co-patrons for an ombudsman office. Did that pretty quick that time, didn't I? The state office will provide independent negotiators for moderating issues residents have with their administration. VACRA is also developing documentation to support the appointment of resident-nominated representatives on the board of directors for their communities. At present, nationally, 50% of CC facilities have resident members on their boards, and some communities in Virginia have voluntarily placed residents on their boards and board committees. Erickson, chain of communities, has had residents on their boards in Virginia, but has recently terminated the program. They, of course, continue this practice in states where it is mandated by law. Kind of interesting. VACRA at Cedarfield, which I'm shortening to VSC, is a resident committee composed of those belonging to VACRA and the National Continuing Care Residents Association. We invite the resident council president and president-elect to our meetings. We support the state organization by advising, collecting data, and distributing legislative alerts to all residents of Cedarfield. You got one of these several weeks ago. VSC has proposed a Board of Directors Day where we invite Pinnacle Living board members to visit Cedarfield. After an overview of the campus, board members will be given a guided tour of our communities and have the opportunity to talk with residents about their experiences in their homes. The visitors will then have lunch with community members, followed by an opportunity to have a non-scripted question and answering discussion with residents. Currently, we are investigating financial issues, staff turnover, and service concerns. We are very concerned about the quite significant increase in our monthly payments for next year. An informal survey found that our increase is well above that what other communities have experienced, and we do not feel that the necessity for it has been sufficiently explained. We are investigating whether the current financial disclosure practices of Pinnacle Living are in compliance with Virginia Code and provide residents the required information to protect their investment and ensure contracted services in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jim. We now move to area representatives. Area 1, I don't think we have a report. Let me know if I'm wrong.
No report.
Okay, Area 2, I believe we do not. We have a gentleman here. Thank you for being here. Area 3, I know Sally has submitted a report, but she is not with us today. Area 4, we do have Nancy Hoffheimer.
Good afternoon. I have to say it warms my heart that I heard someone say something positive about the speed bumps. Haven't heard much good stuff. Anyhow, currently, family and visitors are not allowed in dining venues, and I'm wondering, is that due to a lack of staff, difficulty getting staff, or is it a COVID issue? Anyhow, it's been a long time when we have not been able to bring our family and guests here for dinner. I'd like to know what they're doing to open that sooner. Reopening the what used to be called Atrium and now the cafe. Again, it's a question, is there not adequate staff or is it a COVID issue? But Area 5 is very supportive of reopening with the same level of services. Trash and recycling services. There should be a consistency when they're going to pick up the trash and when they're coming with recycling. The lane has trash picked up every Tuesday, although today it was 40, or Wednesday. And I must say the recycling is much better in being there on time, but I've talked to services, and they say that sometimes they don't know, but she's promised that she will let us know if she hears that they're going to be late. But it has created problems with people about when they put out their recyclables especially, and look forward to getting rid of their trash. Shuttle service. One person in Area 4 wanted to look at the possibility of having a shuttle at least once a week up and down in the lane. Someone who lives in the lane but has difficulty getting up to this building for programs and that sort of thing, and wanted to know, could we set a date? I've talked to Will several times about this issue, and he has, said very strongly that if anyone has a medical need and needs to get up to the big house, this building, he will have someone there for them. And I certainly have used him before, and he is very good about hooking people up. But the problem is right now with a shuttle is we haven't had enough support demonstrated to go forward with it. And it would be expensive. And we're having a power washing in the lane, and they're doing, it's including the gutters and exterior windows. And mine's going to be done tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for your interest.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Is Jill Peavy here? I haven't looked out yet. She's with Area 5. I guess she couldn't make it. Area 6, we have a substitute, Jacqueline Caton.
I'm back with the same problems. Carpet between the Atrium Cafe and the card room is still filthy. Part of the problem is, again, the coffee stains have been left there for 3 months now. And even if you go in and you do a carpet cleaning, regular carpet cleaning on it, those coffee stains will rise up again. So, out on the internet, there are a number of procedures that can be followed that will take care of that problem. I also noticed today, walking down the hallway in assisted living, that it is pretty bad carpet situation over there as well. So those things need to be fixed finally, after like they were prior to May. Next thing, we are so grateful for having our free newspapers in the library, and we really do appreciate you all having them there, except for there's some bad people that are taking part in reading them and not taking the time to put them together. You know, it's very simple. If you need instructions on how to read a paper, I'll be happy to teach you how to do it. You know, when you told your children to put their toys away, and they went and had a toy box to put them in, but threw them in the closet, you corrected them to tell them where they needed to be put. Let's think of that the same way. Now, it gets a little bit further. For shame, for shame, for shame. There's those, as Gomer Pyle would say, there's those people who are coming in and stealing the newspaper. I'm not being politically correct, but, you know, we're tired of it. A couple Sundays ago, the entire newspaper was taken of the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Please don't do that. This is for all of us frugal, cheap people that live here at Cedarfield to take advantage of. So don't ruin it for everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Area 7, Ann Williams had a conflict today. I have this very long note that she sent me this morning. This is from Area 7. There is very poor Verizon cell phone service in the first floor area of the big house. This has not been a problem in the past. Please look at it now. Okay, Area 8, is there anyone here?
No report.
All right, no report. Area 9, no report. Area 10, Jan Moore.
Area 10 recently had a coffee in the atrium to welcome our new member in Area 211, Charles Sean. So we had a good time being together. We still have one vacant apartment in Area 10. Cedarfield Wi-Fi is an area of concern. Our personal experience has been very frustrating. The Wi-Fi stops printing in the middle of a page. We lose Zoom meetings, and we can't even complete online orders. We have contacted the technician at Pinnacle Living, and he has not been helpful. Area 13 also reported that they had poor Wi-Fi in their May meeting. I heard nothing about that afterward. I would like to know how many people use Cedarfield Wi-Fi. I met a recent new member who expected to use the Wi-Fi and then was so disgusted she went ahead and got Infinity. We considered the house Wi-Fi to be a benefit to save money for us when we first came to Cedarfield. So we're continuing to put up with it, but I really think it should be reliable. If we're going to have Cedarfield Wi-Fi, it should be reliable for all of us. One of the residents asked if there was any way to make our heavy doors easier to open. She was thinking of people with walkers and wheelchairs, etc. And then since there are so many new residents, I wondered if it would be possible to have a bridge refresher taught by someone locally or someone brought in, because it might make it a little easier for new residents to join the ongoing bridge groups. We continue to appreciate the coffee service down in the atrium, and our Area 10, like everybody else, would like to see the atrium open for dinner, breakfast, lunch, as soon as possible. Several members of our area are having wonderful gardens. It's a jungle out there, and they're having tomatoes and cucumbers and such to share with their neighbors. So we appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Jan. Area 11, I don't think we have a report. Area 12, no report. Area 13, no report. Area 14, we have Barbara Fiske, who's here for Peggy Daniels.
Good afternoon. I would like to report the last month's news for our area representative, Peggy Daniels, who is away on vacation. We lost our dear neighbor, Richard Taylor, who lived with us less than a year. We extend our deepest and sincere sympathy to his mother, Gladys Taylor, who resides on our second floor in apartment 234. Our friend and neighbor, Linda Miser, has undergone major surgery about 2 weeks ago. She continues to recuperate in a progressive surgical unit, known to us as the step-down unit, at the Doctors Hospital on Forest Avenue. She is truly grateful for all the support from those of you who have sent her cards and made telephone calls and enjoyed talking with her. Thank you especially to those of you who may want to continue to communicate with her in your own way. Our happiest news is the welcoming of newcomers to our Area 14. We send our heartiest welcome to Sandra and Bill Manning in apartment 368 and to Ginny Flanagan in 374. Happy summer to everyone.
Thank you. Area 15? No report. Area 16? No report. Area 17?
No report.
No report. Area 18? All right. Beth Long is here.
In that all three areas of D-Wing have the same information to share this month, we're presenting a joint report. So this is 18, 19, and 20. D-Wing has continued to patiently endure different fixes for the warranty items stemming from improper original construction and/or manufacturer's error. Each floor on the good side is either having or about to have a summer get-together, weather, COVID, and vacation plans permitting. Lastly, a major concern in D-Wing continues to be the lack of emergency backup generator power, which left D-Wing in total darkness and increasing heat for more than 3 hours earlier this month. Personal safety of our fellow residents drives this concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben. Area 19? Do we have I'm sorry. Area 21. Jan, or do we have a report? Okay, we have gotten to the end of the day. Unless we go for another hour or two, if you're all happy here. Is there any old business that we need to deal with? Any new business? This meeting is adjourned, and thank you all for joining us.